welcome to the latest video. This one's going to be a bit of a different style. I'm going to sort of try and do the odd video where I meet other car enthusiasts and they show me their vehicles. So I'm going to tentatively title this sequence Agatha Meets, where Agatha takes me to see other people who own different cars than me and we discuss them. First one today is going to be Lee, Mr. Lee Allen, who's a friend of mine you've seen on other videos. He owns 2 Austin Princesses and 2 Austin Ambassadors. A black Ambassador called Gary, a white Ambassador called the White One, a 100 Club Special Princess, which is very rare but very poor condition, and a nice brown Princess called Mrs. Wynn. So let's meet Lee and his collection of Ambassador stroke Princesses.
Is brought to you by W.E.P Productions. Right, this one is a 1979 Princess 1.7 HL and it's a one owner car from new. I picked this car up from Liverpool after the owner passed away and it was sold on by his son. Originally it was going to be sold for spares or repairs, and his son couldn't allow that because this was the last of his father's estate, if you like. So I saw the car, agreed a price with him for a measly £375. He was happy at that, and I made the promise that I would never break it, which even now I still haven't. I mean, I've done some restoration on it because it needed it to keep it running. But other than that, the car is as original as can be. And it is my pride and joy.
You've got a name for this car, I believe.
Yeah, this is Mrs. Wynn.
Mr. Wynn.
Who was the first owner of the car.
Right.
And I decided that the name of the car should be Mrs. Wynn.
Okay.
Basically everywhere he went, the car went. So we've even got the original supplying dealer's keyring. It's a bit mucky now, but
yeah.
That's from Dutton Forshaw, who supplied the car. There's the original super cover sticker that was meant to go behind the mirror,
yeah.
Which was never fitted, along with the
AA
relay stickers that they obviously had as part of the warranty, and the super cover.
Nice.
You've got your temporary membership card for the super cover there, dated the 1st of the 9th, 1979. What else we got?
And the original bill was £2,270, viewers. Wow.
Part exchange the Maxi.
Oh yeah. On an S-Reg.
Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. Nice bit of history. Like you say, you really need to get this one sorted, don't you?
Yeah, I mean the plan was to put this back on the road this year, with the lockdown happening.
And then something turned up.
And then something turned up. Obviously a little bit wedge shaped. So everything on this car went, as a result, went pear shaped.
But we'll get there.
We'll get there.
That leads us nicely on to what actually distracted you from this one. Yeah.
I was still in the car when I bought it, and I asked Richard, who sold me the car, which was the owner's son, did he want these little items back? And he says, no, keep them with the car, please. Right. So I'm not sure how old this is, but it's some kind of motorist first aid kit, which looks like a mismatch between a Capri and something else on there. And that's none of it has ever been opened.
It's probably out of date, but yeah.
It's all probably out of date, and I wouldn't put any of this stuff on my skin if I got cut. But none of it's been opened. And
Yeah. Wow.
so that stayed in the car. And there's also a red pack of Rizzlers. There was this notebook, which when I showed this to the guy that sold me the car, he believed this was his. So this is the gentleman that owned the car when he served in the forces. So I believe this is Mr. Wynne.
Oh wow, I remember them embassy vouchers. Ha! Wow.
And there he is with
There
his
he is.
uniform.
So this is the original owner of the vehicle.
So this is the original owner. He bought this car when he retired.
Right.
And he drove this car right up until he was around about 85.
Wow.
Then he stopped driving and obviously passed away.
Yeah.
The car was then stored by his son.
And what date it? Oh, so that diary's from '76.
The diary's from 76.
But he's just used it as a notebook, really.
But yeah, it's used. I can't understand his writing because it's way too posh for me. I mean, I just do block capitals.
Same.
But yeah.
Wow. That's nice, though.
So it was something that belonged to the original owner, so that's
Staying in the car.
staying in the car.
And this car looks fairly solid, to be honest. Apart from the arches and stuff, it's a solid car, isn't it?
It had a lot of work done
Right.
to obviously keep it on the road. He did spend a fair bit of money on it, but what work was done was somewhat bodged.
Oh, okay.
So when I come to restore it first time round, it initially started on a bubbling wheel arch, and in the end I went all the way around the car. But since I restored it, I've not had the heart to take it out because I've done it to a point where it was really worthy of going in a museum. I didn't have the heart to take it out. I think we took it out once and it got scratched, and I didn't drive it again, basically because of what the ambassador come along. So here it's sat, and I've not let it go too far because, like I say, I took a little bit of a break from cars, and now's the time to put it back on the road. But the black one can support that. Right, so this one came to me December in 2019, just last year. The plan was to, like I say, to put my brown one back on the road for this year, but this one came along and it was too good to refuse. We was at the NEC with the white one, and an elderly gentleman approached me and says, well, we know of another ambassador, do you want it? Initially I says no, and then he come back with some photos because I didn't think I'd see him again, but he come back with some photos and showed me the car, and I was amazed to see that it was a black. Black was a special order on the Ambassador, so it was a kind of a rare car, and then it was a HLS, which again is also quite rare now. So I could not refuse it.
Well, you could, but you didn't.
I could, but I didn't.
And also, the bonus now is he can do funerals and weddings.
So yeah, so I've basically quickly rushed this one through because I either want to see it on the road by the end of this year or see it sold, one of the two. I'm not sure what I'm doing yet. I think the plan is to keep it, and then I can concentrate on my brown one.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one actually runs, it was running the same weekend that I got it.
And is this the same engine as the white one, or?
It's exactly the same engine as the white one, but it is a manual.
And this is what, a 1700?
This is a 2-litre twin car.
2 litre. But they did do a 1700.
They did do a 1700, but only up to the HL model.
Right.
So you had the 17, base L and HL, and then you had the 2 litre HL, HLS and Vanden Plas.
Right.
So this is my project for this year. I've carried on through the lockdown, so I've only had to do it of a weekend, and
Yep.
if I felt like it of a night. There's still a long way to go, but now structurally wise she's actually really, really sound, and it's just a work in progress
And
now.
jokingly aside, it's another Y-reg.
Of course, yeah.
Can you explain to people why a lot of them are Y-regs, and the joke really doesn't follow through because they were only made for a short time, weren't they?
That's right. Y-Reg would be for the 1983 year, would be the most productive year for them for the whole year. After that you get the A-Reg. By then the Ambassador would come to the end of its production. So that's why you'll find most Ambassadors left now are in fact Y-Regs.
It just happens to be that
And
way.
it just happens to be that year.
Right. This one's a bit special, but it may be a bit too far gone. Lee will just give you a quick rundown on what this one is.
Right, this one is known as a 100 Club Special. This was a very rare car, as it wasn't originally sold to the public. This was actually given by BL to dealer principals. When they met sales targets, they were given an award. Austin Rover or Austin Morris dealerships got a Princess. Rover dealerships had a Rover Vanden Plas, and Jaguar dealerships, I believe, were awarded a all expenses paid holiday. With the Austin Morris side of things, rather than give them a normal Princess, they give them this, which was actually a coach built with a electric sunroof, electric windows, two-tone paintwork, what's left of it, and a Spanish rose interior, which was never used again, I don't think, in any other Princess. I acquired this one from a collector with the intention of maybe one day putting it on the road, but I've already had to put a floor in because there was no floor in it, and it was only the seat that was actually holding things together inside. But it's been one of them cars where I've done a little bit, stopped, done a little bit, and obviously time has now gone on. We're now into probably nearly 8 years of owning it, and I'm probably at the point of saying enough's enough. So I might be moving this car on. Potentially there's been some interest in it, but as usual people only want to give you 20 quid for it, which for me, I'm sorry, but it's worth more than that in scrap. I know it's a bit savage to say that, but I could strip it for parts for myself,
Yeah.
and store the parts, and then just weigh the shell in what's left of it after it holds together that long. But yeah, it was going to be my retirement fund, but I don't think I'm going to get there. Probably be dead before I get this finished.
Yeah, as Lee says, it's very, very crusty, but it's worth saving for its rarity. It's just, you'd need a bit of a deep pocket job for this one, I think. But anyway, that's what was hiding under that cover. So 2 Princesses and 2 Ambassadors. We've had a quick look at all the ones that currently aren't on the road, but the video is mainly going to focus on the white one, which we've seen at shows before, but it's Lee's current runner, if you like, which is a 2-litre Vanden Plas. So we'll go and have a look at that one.
So this one is my Ambassador Vanden Plas Y-Reg. I acquired this car in 2011, and I bought this from a scrapyard. I was actually asked to go and have a look at it for a friend. I think he was interested, and I went and saw it, and I couldn't leave it there, so I actually made a deal there and then, and I paid 600 quid for it. Slightly expensive at the time because I wasn't even worth that, but as I could see, it was a car that was well worth saving. Upon getting it home, We actually drove this car off the trailer. It was actually running. The only thing missing off the car were the door mirrors and the front fog lights. That was the only thing that had been taken off the car. This car was, it's been passed around a few times, but it ended up in the hands of an elderly couple, where it sat in their garage for 12 years. We don't know why, there's no history with it, but all we know from when it was last taxed, it had been sat for 12 years. When they passed away, there was no family to leave the car to, so a house clearance company came in, cleared the house, and phoned the local scrapyard to come and get rid of the old car that was in the garage. He initially went with his grab and was going to pick it up by its roof and throw it in the back. Luckily, he thought it looks a bit special, so he actually towed it out and put it on a trailer. There it sat in his yard. Like I said, it was only the mirrors and the fog lights that was actually taken off the car. Nobody had any bits for it, nobody wanted anything because there was never much call for them. So he then put it on eBay, and I was sent the link by a friend to go and have a look at the car on his behalf, and I bought it. Sorry, mate.
Okay.
Bodywork wise, I've done nothing to the car because I've not needed to, so this car is as original as can be. To recommission the car, which I did in early 2012, I replaced brakes, fuel lines, all the rubber hoses, ball joints, and it sailed straight through the MOT, and it's done so ever since. Everything on this car is original. The bodywork underneath and the floor pans are absolutely as new. So paintwork is as I got it, other than cleaned, and as is the interior. It's all original, even complete with 1980s fag burns. Might as well have a look at that.
It's very cream. Wow. Beigey cream delight. And this is an automatic, this one. All the others are manual, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. It is very original, like you say. It's nice. We like. And this is a former star of the Hubnut series, if anybody watches his videos. I think Ian reviewed this one for you, didn't he? Or
yes,
at least used it in one of his reviews because something wouldn't start, I believe. Vaguely remember watching that one.
Yeah, it was the car that he was going to use, which was the very last ambassador off the production line, because the owner of that car has also got one of the very first Wolseleys. Now that particular ambassador still has its original auto choke, and it was never any good when it was new from the factory, and a lot of people did convert them to manual chokes. This one has also been converted, which you can do using a Austin Metro carburetor. On the day of the shoot, that car decided it was going to stick its choke on and not come off, and so he couldn't carry on with the review. Ian was going to do some further work up north on different cars. On his way past, he says, "Can I really need to use your ambassador?" Fetch the tape, the lock up, and says, "Yeah, carry on, just use it." So it was used as a stand-in as such, but it was never actually properly reviewed.
Yeah.
He weren't very nice to it, to be fair. I think he thought it was a bit crap.
Oh.
Oh well, I love it.